Hey guys! So today I want to talk about pursuing a second bachelor's. I think a lot of people go through this where we just don't know what we want to study. This video is basically just for anyone who feels stuck or alone or doesn't think that, there's other people out there struggling, because I think there's a lot of us actually. And when I went to school, I don't know, I just felt like I couldn't really talk to anybody about this. So yeah, this video is for that. I think there's a lot of stigma around education in general, and whether you drop out or whether you go on to a 4-year university or, just get your associates. There's a lot of stigma around that, and it's something that I really don't think is necessary. I'm not gonna lie, I had some of that stigma growing up and while I was in school, which is why it took me, I think, a while to change the course of my study. So basically I started college in 2014 and I graduated in 2018. I graduated with a bachelor's in exercise science, and I did really like studying that, but I don't think I ever really loved it. I loved working out, I still do. I love everything like fitness and health, but I think you have to make that distinction whether something's just a hobby versus a full-time job, and a lot of people do make their hobbies full-time jobs. So I think that's where there's some like sort of gray area, and where people can get kind of, stuck inside that gray area and they're not really sure. So I just started my second bachelor's this summer, and I was actually deciding between going to a master's program in public health or pursuing a bachelor's in something totally different, electronic media and film. So they're pretty distinct, but in my mind they're not that distinct. So in my junior year of college, I actually thought about changing my major to electronic media and film. I took a film class. I liked it. I did well. It's pretty easy. It's very entry level stuff. So I took that class and I did well, but I was already a junior. I was already so far along in my studies, and I didn't want to be that person who stayed for 5 years or, stayed longer than 4 years, because there's that stigma that you're supposed to stay in college for 4 years. Yeah, 2 and 2 is 4. Anyways, so that's kind of what I thought in the back of my mind, and that's what held me back from really pursuing what I wanted. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going on the track that I am and find a job, go to grad school, because for exercise science the most clear path you can do is physical therapy, which is, I think, what a lot of people think about when they go into that program. And I don't really know why I chose physical therapy, to be honest. Even from like before I enrolled, or like as I was enrolling into exercise science, I was looking at careers in high school and I was like, I came across physical therapy. It had a great like salary. It seemed like people like really enjoyed that job and whatnot. I interned and worked at a couple clinics, and they were okay, but they didn't excite me that much. They were just like jobs to me. So I really did like my experiences there in terms of, the people I've met, the people I got to work with. But, that doesn't really include the job. I could meet anyone, have great coworkers at any job. So the actual practice, like physical therapy, wasn't that exciting to me. And it's kind of like a lie I kept telling myself, like, no, this is a good job, this is what people expect from you, this is what you've been telling everybody that you want to pursue, so it just makes sense to pursue that. So I worked at a physical therapy clinic 2 years after I graduated. I liked it, but I kept trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I had a lot of doubts in those 2 years, especially the first year. So that first year in 2018, I pursued a graduate certificate in multimedia studies, and I didn't graduate from that. I didn't get that certificate. I did about half of it, because it was a bunch of it was multimedia, so there's a lot of different types of digital media that didn't interest me specifically, like website building. It was interesting and useful, but I don't know, it just wasn't that interesting to me. There's a photography class which I really liked, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so I did that, and I like got a camera, dabbled in some freelance, and it was good, but I still wasn't sure. I didn't know if I should go to school for film or if I should just try to do it somehow on my own. I know that a lot of people in like film photography, they do self-study, or they just go out into the work field and try to get, do a lot of freelance type of stuff. But I'm more interested in film than photography, which is why I decided to pursue another degree. And I just really like learning from other people. Like, I can self-study, but if I have coursework to complete, it kind of helps me push that and make sure that I'm learning. So and I also thought that getting a degree would help if I wanted to work in some type of corporate job, which I'm not sure if I would want to do because I've never done it, but it could be a great stepping stone to other job opportunities. So I decided to get another degree. So this past spring I applied to a bachelor's program and a master's program. I just wanted to see if I would get into both of them. I was pretty sure I would get into the bachelor's program because it was at a school that I had gotten my previous bachelor's in. And then for the master's program, it was a school in Colorado, and I would love to live there someday. And I thought, and the program itself is one that I was really interested in. I searched up a bunch of public health programs, and that's the one that spoke to me the most. So it was just a win-win. So I applied to both of them. I got into both of them, and that's when I had kind of a breakdown, because it's easier, for the choice to be made for you than to make the decision yourself. So after a couple of nights of debating, I decided to go with the bachelor's program because it's something that I really wanted to do, versus the other one was something that I felt that I had to do, but something that I would also enjoy at the same time. I think I could have done really well in each of those programs, but I decided to go with the bachelor's program because a master's program is very expensive, and if you're not 100% sure whether or not you want to pursue that, I wouldn't recommend you enrolling. Also, I chose to go with the bachelor's route, A, because it was cheaper, B, it's something that really interested me a lot, and it's something that I always kind of dreamt of doing. Even in high school, I thought about majoring in English because English was one of my favorite classes. Never even really liked science or took any science classes. I don't know why I applied to exercise science, because I didn't even take chemistry in high school. I think I only took biology. I didn't take physics either. But anyways, and then C, if you're applying for a second bachelor's, you already have, if your school requires that you already have all the core classes, so it shouldn't take as long to graduate. So those are all the reasons I chose to pursue a second bachelor's degree. So I hope that helps. In any regards, you don't need school to pursue what you want. But if you like school, definitely think about those different types of options. But I think just the most important thing is to never stop learning, never stop doing. If you really want to do something, just find a way to do it. If you want to be a photographer, go find people to photograph, try to build up your clientele. If you want to go back to school, think about the options that you have. Just try to keep doing something that's pushing you in the direction that you want. I think our biggest downfall is just being stagnant. So yeah, I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, you can comment down below, and I will answer any questions.